the code book by Mr. Fuller. Yeah, I was sad that not sad, but if you say you don't have time to read, but I think that's that's you definitely need to read. You know what I'm saying? Especially like on YouTube. That's it's pretty interesting. Like you were saying that you're getting all these comments and things like that. You don't want to read the comments and whatnot because they're racist and stuff. That's YouTube, basically, from what I've understood. And even people that put up videos, it seems like they are unread, and they just want to just go on YouTube and vent and, give their opinions and blah, blah, blah. So, that ties into my question. I was thinking that, like, when you started the police, do you think that if you can go back, because there are Asian people listening to the program, Chinese specifically. I don't know if you think you're Chinese or whatever, but they're listening. So we want to learn from your experiences and from your past and stuff like that. And so, do you think that you should have expected, just like with the YouTube comments, and you're kind of tripping off of them, but do you think that you should have gone into that police department expecting what you got?
Do I think I should expect that in the future from now, you mean?
No. I'm saying, like, learning from your experience, do you think that when you went into that job or whatever, that you should have expected what you got?
I think, after going through those experiences, yeah. I guess I was just kind of like too unaware about things like this, and I didn't really know, but I feel that people, people they should expect it. It's gonna happen. It is expected. Expect to see a lot of racial profiling. If you're not white, expect to be subjected to a lot of racism within the department. Expect, to encounter all of that. Expect to see a lot of corruption. Expect to see, like, people getting mistreated. And expect to see favoritism. Expect to see, like a white person getting promoted, and then you work just as hard or harder and you don't get promoted. Expect all of that. Expect heavy corruption. And learn to deal with it. Whether you guys basically decide whether or not it's worth the money. If the police department is paying you $30 an hour to deal with like this nonsense where people are disrespecting you every so often, are you gonna accept that, or would you just rather get a job that's paying like half the money, maybe $15 an hour, and then you don't really got to deal with that as much? It's up to you, But if the police department's only paying you like $1 an hour more, then you're probably like, you know what, I'm out of here. So a lot of it is just a give and take. When you get more money, when you get paid more money, you got to put up with more like garbage. And that's kind of like the give and take situation. So you should expect a lot of racism. It's all over the police department. If anything, like they might be the most racist out there because they're trained to be racist. As soon as a police officer's, like, when they see somebody that's like being an offender, they have to label the person. They don't know the person's name, so they have to be like, it's a white male, it's a black male, it's an Asian male, he's 5'5" or 6 feet tall. They're trained to label people. And then, on top of that, they have this complex where they have this power complex in them, where they're trained to believe that they're better than other people. This is annoying. Police officers, they become police officers, and all of a sudden, they think that they could just speed whenever they want to speed, like, no matter if they're on duty or not. Because, I'm an officer, so I'm going to get away with it. They expect themselves to be able to drive drunk because they're a police officer. And all they got to do is flash the badge. And then the police officers let them go. And that's how this world is. And you either become a bully or you get bullied. That's pretty much how it goes. You either get bullied or you become a bully. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you
I'm not sure about that. Hey, but I was thinking that that's interesting. I mean, I think that that's learning right there. Like, you could tell someone, from, a Chinese person or whatever that, you can expect if go on any job or whatever, that this is what you can expect. This is what happened to me. This is your recommendations on what you can expect. And I think that if you read that book that was suggested by one of the other callers, you will have some ways to counter it. You can counter it just in case you want to get that money, like you were saying. You keep saying, "Oh, it was good money. It was good money." I think you said that. You said that a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if it was good money, like, you don't want to give up. You might not. I don't know. You might not want to give up the good money, but you can have counters to your, for your expectations. You don't go in blind. Just like you're making YouTube videos and whatnot, and the comments and things. It seems like you were surprised by the comments that you were getting, but there are people that that would have told you that you should have been expecting those type of comments. You feel what I'm saying? But I respect the YouTube thing, because it takes some courage, I think, to make videos on YouTube. But I don't know. But what I'm saying is that this is very vital. This is an interesting program and it could be a learning. This could be a lot of learning. But if you don't learn lessons, then it's really just, this is a sad story, a confused victim, abused and brutalized and things like that. So I'm just saying, like, consider getting back into your reading. I think that's important. That book that was suggested. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Do you think that I don't even have a question. I can't think of a question. Like, some of the things that you were saying just sound like you need a little bit more knowledge, education, and you could do some good work. I think that's what I'm sensing. But you definitely need some more information. You know what I mean? But what do you think?
I mean, like, I don't really focus on this that much. I mean, really, I read a lot of the books that I read are like, I read up on Osho a lot. He's one of the spiritual guys that I highly promote, and he's just basically, it's like spiritual matters. It's talking about meditation. I'm focused on that. You know what I mean? I know the root cause of racism is the system. And really, it's just, as long as I see things a certain way and I can basically enlighten myself, that's what I see as important. As far as other people, it's like it has to happen on an individual basis, where they have to wake up and basically not be racist yourself. As far as like controlling the things around me, I don't have too much control of that. And as far as the money is concerned, I mean I think that's with everything. It doesn't even have to deal with racism, but basically people are paying you. If they pay you enough money, then you become their little, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you become their little dog. You do whatever they want you to do. So sometimes it's not even about racism. It's just about selling out. I mean, like, to me.
I'll end this right now. Can I recommend that? I think it would be great if you give first-hand accounts of what you have observed, or maybe some stories that people have told you, or from their own experiences and stuff like that, things that you have observed. But as far as expounding, as far as giving your analysis and opinions and stuff on that, I think that's where you're making your mistake. Because I think you should respect the fact that you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that you might, just for a second, until you get some spare time to do some more reading and researching and learning, your opinions, I mean, and your conclusions and stuff like that, man, I mean, it's not helping your people, man. I mean, they sound very uninformed, and that's all I would say. Just give that some thought. your observations, all of that what you've said is on point. But your analysis and your conclusions and things like your things like that, it's coming from a place where you said that you don't have time to read. Like you can, it's apparent. You feel what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make that suggestion. I think it was a great program. I haven't heard the Cal in a while, and this is very interesting.
I mean, it's not that
thank you for coming on, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't have time to read. I mean, I read a lot of books, but they're not about racism. I don't see a point in reading a book about racism because I refuse to dwell like so much on that. I mean, I'm reading on things of healing, like meditation, for example.
Yeah, that's that weird philosophy, man. Because like what happens is you run into situations where you get on YouTube and people calling you monkey, and you're getting upset, and you're like, what the heck? I can't. You know, you should already you gotta, man. Listen, you're going to run into this thing over and over and over again. You got to get some knowledge on it. If you're reading about meditation and whatnot, like if it's not talking about racism, white supremacy, man, really it's not talking about anything, nothing. That stuff, man, is not going to help you when you're making your videos and people calling you monkey on the comment board.
But you don't understand what meditation is, and that's where you're wrong. You understand? I mean, you're calling me that I'm wrong, but really you don't even know what meditation is. You know what I'm saying? So meditation is...
I don't know how you came to that conclusion. I think that's part of your problem, man. You jump to a lot of conclusions.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I'll just leave it there, man. You know, do what you think is right, but it sounds like you're frustrated and you're kind of like reinventing the wheel. You get into these situations and you're not expecting what
is meditation? What is meditation?
Please. In that situation.
No, what is meditation? If you know what it is, what is it? What is it? Tell me what it is.
I would just say this, man.
Just tell me what meditation is. Just tell me. You say you know what it is.
I'm not going to get into that. I don't think
it's very easy.
I think it's completely irrelevant to this conversation.
How could it be irrelevant if you don't even know what it is? Please tell me what meditation is. That is the cure.
Meditation for you might be not to talk about racism, not to study racism, not to think about it. That might be what meditation. I don't know your definition of meditation. I might have my own definition of it. That doesn't mean I don't know what it is. I might not have the same definition that you have of it from your guru or whatever teacher taught you what meditation was.
No, it's a simple. There's a simple definition to it. It's a simple definition.
We had other people that called in. He said, Nana said he was done with his questions. And moving forward, thank you for calling in. The person that dialed in, 6040. Did you have a question for Mr. Lee? 6040. Your line should be open.
Yeah, I'd like to know how many fucking dogs you've eaten, you cheap, narrow-eyed bastard, you.
See there? Terrorism? Just wait. Person dialed in just to terrorize. And he hung up. I was going to ask a question. But see there? Right there.
Be expected.
Exactly. Waited just to get that in and practice racism, white supremacy. But Mr. Fuller says it all the time. Tacky, trifling, terroristic. That is the interaction between white people and non-white people every day, all day, to be expected. Person that dialed, I guess this is the caller in Florida. Excuse me. Dial back in. I'm checking to make sure I covered all of the topics I wanted to make sure that I hit on. I guess I did have 1 point or 2 points. I had 2 points. One, you had, and I think you mentioned it earlier today. I think you had said that you get, you're in Chicago, so you said you spend a significant amount of time around black people, and you said that you get racism all the time when you're out. People make comments calling you Jackie Chan and saying China. I think you had a YouTube video where you were saying you were out at the park, and I think you said a 5-year-old black child came up to you and said China, and you responded by saying Africa. I think you had another example where you said that it was a black person, perhaps in your class, who was making comments saying, I think like Jackie Chan is your dad or something like that. And you said you went, that you challenged him, and you were saying that you challenge people. And I found that very interesting, that the two examples, and this is from your YouTube videos, it's not from today, the exchange that you've had with us on the program, but from your YouTube videos, I found it very interesting that the two examples that you gave of challenging racist behavior directed at you came from black people, and not just black people, but black children. It seemed like in both of these instances, it was younger black people. In one instance, you said it was a 5-year-old. And I want to know, are there examples where white adults have made racist comments and you have directly challenged them? And if so, could you share one of those?
Because I live in a black community, really. There's not that many whites in this community over here. And actually, one of my students, basically my former student, was talking about racism and stuff like that or whatever. And he was talking about, something that happened on the train. And he's like, using examples. And all of a sudden he said something like, if it's like me calling you a fucking chink or something. I mean, he said that right to my face, and I didn't really, I just stayed silent, and then he just figured out there's something wrong, and he asked me, is everything okay? And I just basically said, that's disrespectful. I mean, I'm supposed to be your teacher here, and you're just using that, you're saying that word as an example. I said, you could have made another different example. You didn't have to even say that. And then basically we just went back and forth, and then he ended up stopped training because he didn't feel comfortable anymore. He didn't feel comfortable training anymore. And I told him, you know what? I wasn't mad, but I was just saying, I told him that's just disrespectful, man. I mean, you're just getting too comfortable with me. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that, and then he just, I told him that everything's cool, but then he didn't feel comfortable training anymore, and then he just stopped training. But that was an incident that happened not too long ago. But at the job, it was the whites it was the whites at the job that mainly were attacking me. But after I left that job, I live in a black community. I interact with mainly a lot of blacks. Some whites, but I didn't really have any whites attack me that I remember recently though. As far as my race is concerned, not face to face, but I'm sure all over the internet for sure.
Mm. Okay. I'm echoing. I don't know if that's coming from. See if it's still okay. I don't hear that. I can understand that, particularly if you live in an area where you're not around a lot of white people directly. I guess my comment would be, I think you've said many times throughout the program about a lot of Asian people being, the term used is whitewashed, with regards to the way that they think and speak is to behave like, think like, talk like what they perceive to be white, to act like white people, to speak like white people, do what they see white people doing. And I think most non-white people, if not all non-white people, that's the way we've been conditioned, trained to behave. That's what I mean when I go back to a global system of white supremacy. When you talked about the film Rush Hour with Chris Tucker, that is not a black film. That's not a film that a group of black people sat down and said, we want to finance this film. We want to write the script for this film. We want to go and do the production, directing, make sure that this gets made and distributed, and then make sure that it's seen, do the promotion to make sure that lots of people go see this film, make sure that it's out on DVD and all these other formats, Netflix, so that people can view this over and over and over again. And this becomes a major part of what people consider American culture. What I would say is just racist, white supremacist entertainment, so that everyone thinks it's funny to go up to an Asian person and say, do you understand? Where is it? I mean, exactly what you said. White people promote that sort of racist behavior. I think one of the callers talked about how in different parts of the world now you have Asian people, they see black people in the same way that white people do and have the same sort of racist entertainment geared at black people. And I think that's something that it's important to understand, that, number one, and to not view black people, especially because black people are not in control. I mean, that just, films like that do not come from black people. They make a ton of films. The same people that made Rush Hour, they make films making fun of black people, where black people are looking stupid and ignorant and not in control of anything. And people think, oh, that's just black people. Exactly what you touched on before. Black people are criminals and thieves and gangsters, crash, going around sticking up, robbing people. That's what black people do. Carjacking people. That's what black people do. White people are responsible for all of that. So I think it's very important to keep that in mind, particularly if it's black children. Because, I mean, if they're just sitting in front of a television or just getting racist culture, they just don't know. And I think it's important to not respond to them like people, non-white people who do things that get on my nerves. They've been what you call whitewashed. I try to be a lot more patient and understanding this person is a victim. This is a part of how they have been victimized. So I would do more to try to talk to them in a patient manner to get them to understand, hey, you saying this, you talking or saying that Jackie Chan is my father, try to help them understand why that is incorrect to say and why that, is what white people want. That's the way white people have kind of trained us to think. I think that would be the better way to go about it. I think a lot of times that's what white people want. They want us fighting with one another. They want black people and Asian people and all the non-white people just in conflict with one another. And I think that just helps them maintain their system. That helps just to have more conflict, and none of it's focused on the people who are most to blame for all of this, which is white people. Does that make sense?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but like I think it's the power structure. It can't be like all white people. It's more like the white people that are in control of this world, that call the shots. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, like the people that have the billions of dollars that are basically arranging this whole thing. I mean, I don't think it's just the average white person down the block. I mean, it's like you're talking about these people that have like billions of dollars and you don't even know their face, that they're arranging all this. So I mean, the people in power are creating this, So, I mean, well, understand it,
Even if you don't agree, if you don't think it's all white people, and I didn't say it's all white people, but even if you don't think it's all white people, it wasn't billionaire white people who were causing you so many problems on your job as a police officer at Northwestern. Those were just regular average white people who were causing you all of those problems, practicing racism, white supremacy. And that's what I mean. That power differential just between a white person, whether it's just a regular old average white person working at Northwestern University, or whether it is a billionaire white person working at MGM Studios who can greenlight a film like Rush Hour and then Rush Hour 2 and then Rush Hour 3 to just continue perpetuating these racist ways of viewing and thinking about non-white people. Through and through, it is white people all the way down. And I think there should be a different response with regards to white people, since they are the ones who are culpable as opposed to other victims of racism, particularly children. I just thought that was important. I want to make sure I get the other books caught. I had one other point, I guess a more recent video you did about Jeremy Lin. I want to make sure I get, person had a question. I'm just seeing Carl. That's what's up, so I got to go with that. Carl, did you have a question for Mr. Lee?
Yes, definitely. Hello?
We can hear you, sir. Carl, okay, we can hear you.
I just wanted to respond. Yeah, I just want to respond that Mr. Lee's philosophy of meditating a problem away is characteristic of the Asian way of solving a problem. That they can influence and change the universe through meditation. However, we can see with the domination of Asia by whites and their white supremacy that it does not work. What works is a legal remedy. If he had known about the EEOC earlier, he could have gone to them and they would have addressed this problem. And also during the 1970s, when some Vietnamese in southern Louisiana was having problems with the racists, they went to the NAACP AACP,
Let me call you back later.
and they assisted them in resolving their problem with the racism. And then the other thing is that he's crying out for help, but he wants to solve the problem his way. And rather than benefiting from the almost 400 years of resistance that African Americans and Afro-Caribbeans have applied to this white race problem, and then utilizing that to solve his future problems, because they don't go away. They just get worse. I mean, not worse, but it's an ongoing problem. And that's all I'm going to say.
Didn't hear a question there. We have lots of people calling who are not having questions. That's I try to encourage folks to have questions. It's not don't need an apology, but I do want to encourage folks. If you can put your commentary in the form of a question, I think that would be best. But yeah, did you have a response, Mr. Lee, to his comments or?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. The caller in Florida, I think we got everybody. Caller in Florida, did you have something else you wanted to get in?
Well, let's ask the question. Would Mr. Lee be willing to consider the method that African Americans have used to solve our racist problem and in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've learned, because I've been influenced by a lot of like black entertainers and like Malcolm X and Dr. Martin King Jr. and Tupac. I mean, I've been influenced by them, and I've pretty much, the reason why I stood up against all that discrimination and all that racism at that workforce was through their inspiration. And it took 4 years to get me to do that. And then now that I ended up doing it, it made my life very stressful, but at the same time, it made me a stronger person. And it just made me like who I am today. And basically, if I didn't go through that, there wouldn't even be a YouTube channel, and I wouldn't even be talking to you guys right now. So I mean, like the inspiration of these black leaders, it has made me go in a way of where I am trying to fight back, and that's why I make the YouTube videos. That's my way of fighting back. Is like basically expressing to the people the pain that it causes, and then when people watch it, like, dang, I didn't know that it caused that much pain. Hey, maybe I should watch out before I say something to another Asian guy. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, I mean, the people, one of the guys, listeners was kind of attacking me, saying that I'm being too passionate about it. Well, you know what? The passion, the pain, it has to be exposed, and the people actually see